What is up, everybody? Welcome back once again to Hot Toys Hotline Live. But this is our special Tuesday episode of 2.0 or Leave It Alone. Guys, before we get into it, of course, we're going to say what's up to everybody on the panel and everybody in the chat. Got a lot of people in here early in the chat, so we appreciate you hanging out. Tonight, guys, we are going to be talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi, or Ben Kenobi as we know him from A New Hope. Obviously, he stopped going by that name long ago, so his name is Ben Kenobi in A New Hope. So really excited to talk about that. This figure. This is a very special figure and one that a lot of people hold near and dear, whether they have it in their collection or not. So I can't wait to talk about it. Of course, as always, guys, I have my co-host here with me, Mr. Mom Collectibles, Ryan. It's great to have you here as always, my friend.
As always.
How you doing? I know
doing
you're a little sick,
fantastic.
but
Thank
apart
you.
from that,
Yeah, aside from I'm getting over a little bit of allergies, but I appreciate it having me on tonight as always. So we talk
absolutely
about a figure that is in my top 5, definitely. So
great to have you here, dude. And I can't wait to talk about it. It's a really exciting one for sure. And I know a lot of people in the chat and some people over on Instagram were talking about it as well. So I think a lot of people are excited to talk about this one. And of course, as always, we also have Chris from Collecting Madness. Chris, how you doing, man? I know you're excited to talk about this one. You're kind of you messed up my question. You know, it's usually a surprise where I'm like, hey, do you have this one in your collection? Sorry, guys, we can't rewind. So yeah, Chris doesn't have to answer that that question. But Chris, how you doing, man? Yeah, you saw nothing. People that are just getting here, do not go backwards. Just keep watching from now on. From this point on, just keep watching.
Yeah, what's up? Good to be here, with you guys as always. What's up, chat? Let's get this thing rolling.
Yes, sir. All right, let's say what's up to some people in the chat. We have a lot of people in here. Some people were here way before, so either they're going to be here or on the replay. So we'll say hi to them regardless. We have Amar or Amar. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. He says hello. Hello to you. I hope you're doing well. Of course, as always, the GOAT, Insane One in the chat tonight. He says hello all. Good to see you as always, Insane One. And by the way, guys, while I'm on the topic of moderators, because Insane One is one of our great moderators, some guy will not be here tonight. He had a prior engagement, but I'm sure he would like to have me let you guys know that he misses you all and he wish he could be here. So say what's up to some guy in the chat and he'll catch it on the replay, I'm sure. But we'll miss him for sure. We have Dr. Julius Strange Pork. What a name and a profile picture as well. Dr. Julius says, I'll take another one or maybe a couple. Great figure. I hear you on a couple, dude. This is one you definitely get a couple of. Tarkin, Yandu will get made again as well. It's like printing money for Hot Toys. No brainer. Dude, you're throwing out a lot of grails right there. Those are a lot of grail figures that a lot of people either are looking for or hold near and dear currently in their collection. But I hope you're doing well, Julius. Great comment there, and it's good to see you as always. My boy Sluggin16 with the Ryu profile picture. Always love to see it. He says, good afternoon, fellow collectors. Good evening to you. It's evening for us. I hope you're doing well, Sluggin. It's always good to see you, my friend, and I hope you are doing well. Look who's here. Control-Alt-Delete Q is here. He says, hello, all. Managed to clock in early today. Hey, we appreciate you, as always, for being here. As I always say, guys, you're never late. You're always on time when you're here with us, whether it's on a Tuesday or a Thursday. We appreciate you for being here, as always. My boy, I knew he wasn't going to miss it. I knew it. When we're talking about Star Wars, my boy Beskar Kid, he ain't going to miss it for nothing.
the legend.
Exactly. The Star Wars champ, my fellow Star Wars cheerleader. So it's good to see you, as always, Beskar. Hope you're doing well, my friend. I know you're excited to talk about this one. And I'm curious, once we get to the question of whether you have this one in your collection or not, I don't know personally about you. So I'm curious to hear that from you once we get to that question. Let's see who else we got. Scrolling down. Sorry, guys, I'm scrolling through the comments. Payton23 is in the house. He says, hello, everyone. Hello to you, Payton. I hope you're doing well, and it's good to see you as always. We got my boy, Big Dog Pound, dropping the woo in the chat. To everybody, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for being here, dude, and always dropping the excitement in the chat. It's always good to have you here. Boba Fettuccine in the house says, what's up, all? What is up, Boba? I hope you're doing well. Always good to see you, and it's not a Hot Toys Hotline stream without you, so it's awesome to have you here. Sid Vicious says, what's up, everybody? What's up, Sid? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you, as always. We have our boy Owen in the chat, who magically disappeared from our Thursday streams the past 2 weeks, guys. And last week, it's just like Owen blew us off, man. I know you guys are really excited to see him. No, I'm just joking with you, but it's good to see you as always. Guys, Owen will most likely be here for this Thursday, so you'll be able to see his ugly mug along with our ugly mugs alongside him on Thursday. Let's see. Jay says, OMG, I'm your biggest fan. Well, hey, if you really are, I appreciate that. I'm nothing to write home about though. Just saying. Let's see. Oh, Sluggin says I'm still here, my good sir. Well, it's good to see you. A face I haven't seen in a while. 1/6 Star Wars Pimpazoid says I paid $420. That's a random number. I like that though. 420 for this Obi-Wan in December. Hey, I mean, if it was worth it to you, it was worth it to you. You know, I mean, it really all depends what it's worth to you. I'll never judge what somebody spends on a figure as long as they think it's worth it to them. You know, it's your money, so spend it where you want to spend it. You know. 8-Bit Flea is here. 8-Bit Flea says, yo, what's good, 8-Bit? I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you as always. And it was awesome to see you in Aries chat the other day when I was on 6 Scale Cantina. So always good to see you around. It looks like some guy, people are saying what's up to some guy. That's awesome. It's good to see. David, my good friend, David says, landed MMS 369 today by trade. Yoda in the house. Awesome, dude. That's awesome. Congratulations. You've been getting a lot of good stuff lately. So, I'm very jealous. You have a fantastic collection, and I'm glad that you're continuing to build on that and get some awesome stuff. Let's see. We have Cool. Cool says, Old Ben was my first hot toy. Next of kin have been informed that he, along with all original packaging, should be placed in my call. Hey, if you're going to place any figure in your coffin, that's a good one to do. Maybe as a little Easter egg, too, you can kind of have some collapsed Jedi robes in the casket with them. That'd be pretty cool, you know? Just kind of symbolizing you passing on, just like Obi-Wan did with the Force, you know? You never know. Ryan doesn't like my little joke. It's funny, dude. Some people are going to find it funny. Kaiju Daddy, it's good to see you, bro. He says, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you. I hope you're doing well, dude. It's always good to see you. And let's see. Anybody else? Oh, we have EN is here. EN, good to see you, my friend. He says, I'd buy the shit out of a new old man. I love that. Old man Obi-Wan. Very overshadowed these days. Alec Guinness killed it. Also, hello, guys. Yes, Alec Guinness is an absolute legend. Gone too soon, but he's been gone for a long time now, so we have great memories of him. If you guys are a fan of the original trilogy, that's part of the reasons a lot of us hold this figure near and dear to our hearts, you know. Whoa, Kaiju, you're jumping the gun here, dude. We're not on the... I'm just joking. Once we get to the condition issues, though, we are going to talk about the robe bleeding, because that is one of the big issues with this figure. So,
not for me.
Jay says I have the best collection she has ever seen, or he has ever seen. Well, hey, I appreciate that. There's a lot better collections than mine, but I'm very proud of what I've got, so I very much appreciate that. But guys, we're going to get right into it now. Let's see, let's go with this view, you know, something a little different. But guys, of course, as always, we're going to pull up some photos of the original stock photos of Obi-Wan. We're going to take a look at some in-hand photos, and we're going to take a look at some videos as well. And then when we get to the part of, do we have this figure in our collection? Maybe we'll do a little close-up of
we'll also have to throw the
our
poll
figures.
up too.
Yeah, we're going to throw the poll up. Thank you, Ryan, for reminding me, as always, guys. We're going to throw up the poll. And once again, guys, this poll will end at the end of the stream, so you have plenty of time to vote. So let me put this poll up right now. Let's see. All right, so Ben Kenobi, if I could type, 2.0 or no. All right, guys, so of course, the poll is up now. If you want it to 2.0, if you think it deserves a 2.0, drop a yes on that poll. And if you do not want it to get a 2.0 or you think it does not deserve it, of course, drop a no. And we will take a look at that poll at the end of the stream and see what the poll's looking like. So our first question, guys, is when was this figure released? And I know that's an important question because a lot of people are spending a lot of money on this figure right now. And those who are relatively new to Hot Toys might be asking themselves, why are people paying so much money? Well, to answer that question, guys, the MMS 283 Ben Kenobi, or Obi-Wan Kenobi, was released in Q4 of 2015. So that probably gives you a little hint and a little bit of insight as to why he's selling for so much. It's a very beloved character from a very beloved film, the first film ever released in the Star Wars franchise in 1977. So it makes a lot of sense. This figure is selling for a lot of money considering it's long sold out. This one, guys, this is one that I originally did not pick up when it was in stock. This was a little bit before my time with Hot Toys. So me personally, I did also have to get it from the secondary market. And later, when we get to the pricing, I will tell you guys how much I spent on mine. But I will say I did get a very good price on it. I kind of struck while the iron was hot when everything was on a dip. So I didn't pay that much for mine personally, and I don't regret what I spent on mine at all. But I want to take a look at some photos here. of this Obi-Wan. And I will say, and Ryan and Chris, I want to hear your thoughts as you're looking at these prototype photos. And Chris, we already know obviously that you have this in your collection, but Ryan, I know you've seen some in-hand photos and videos and such of this. When you look at these prototype photos, would you agree that this is, out of a lot of figures that we see, this is one of those figures that's very, very close to the original prototype? And in fact, we were kind of talking about this earlier today. We were talking about kind of degradation from the prototype to the final. Would you say this one's pretty close to the prototype in terms of the final release?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I know the conversation, just to kind of fill people in, we were talking about what were we talking about? We were talking about Kang, I think. And I think I made the comment that I gave the sculpt like a 9 out of 10 because I don't like giving things 10 out of 10 because I think there's always a relative room for improvement on anything. I don't think anything is really perfect. And I think we talked about how lately with Hot Toys sculpts, people seem to buffer in a certain percentage of prototype to mass production. And I know you said it doesn't happen with everything, but it seems there is some like Bo-Katan. There seems to be a few that soften when they go to mass production. And I think I made the comment to you that I know Yondu, because I had Yondu at one point. I think Yondu was one that I said I think is absolutely, it didn't lose anything. And I think you also said that it happened to others. And yeah, this is one that I don't think, I mean, you guys, those who have it in hand, I will say. But from what I've seen, yeah, it's pretty much spot on from proto to production that I don't see, nor do I hear any comments of people saying that there's a X percentage loss, due to mass production versus the prototype. This thing, everyone seems to be spot on. I mean, I think this sculpt, when I see people do their top 10s of like best sculpts, this is easily in there. It's in there for me, 100%. And especially because of the age going on almost 10 years. It's unbelievable. So it's better than some sculpts that they do now.
Yeah, I agree. And it's all, everybody makes their jokes, right? Like when Hot Toys does sculpts, they do old man sculpts the best, but it's crazy though. Cause when you look at them, it's like, we have Ben Kenobi here. We have Grand Moff Tarkin, like especially in the Star Wars line, there's a lot of examples of them kind of knocking. And another one, a figure that's kind of often slept on is the sequel trilogy, Han Solo. They knocked that sculpt out of the park. So it's funny how when given the opportunity, when they get to sculpt in aging and that extra skin wrinkle detail and such like that, they kind of knock it out of the park. Because I think it kind of makes it easier to nail a likeness when you have that additional detail to throw in, but definitely well said. And Chris, again, we obviously know that you have this figure in your collection. When you're looking at these prototype photos, do you think this very much compares and stands up to the prototype with little degradation at all?
Now that I'm looking at it side by side, and having mine in hand, I see a little bit of like it lost from the proto, but it's like very, very close. And it could be even something as far as like, I guess the lighting in here, maybe like the color of his hair and beard compared to this one. It looks a little bit lighter, but yeah.
Yeah.
Still solid, dude. Still solid. Like Ryan was saying, every time I hear somebody talking about a top 5 head sculpt, he is in the conversation every single time, and it shows. And it's pretty impressive coming from 2015 all the way to now, and he's still in the conversation.
Yeah, I agree. And we often see like older figures, and everybody always asks the question, like, does it hold up with some of the newer figures? And I think this one absolutely does in terms of the likeness on the head sculpt. I think the paint apps are pretty solid for the time. So I would totally agree. I wanted to pull up this next site, guys, and I want to give you guys a disclaimer. These photos, you can see the lighting is like super yellow. So keep that in mind. This isn't a good representation of the figure. But what I do very much like about this website is they give you a complete rundown of all of the parts of the figure. They take all of the parts off. So I kind of wanted to show you everything that came with this. And along with that, guys, we're going to answer our next question is, and before we get to the secondary market price, I just want to touch on what is the original retail price of this figure. Believe it or not, guys, in 2015, this was $219.99 plus tax and shipping through Sideshow. So to today's standards, obviously, that's a good amount cheaper. That's like a trooper price now that we get from Hot Toys. So definitely a considerably affordable figure at the time. Obviously, with the inflation and everything going on right now, that's kind of a price of the past for a figure with a head sculpt and everything. But it's definitely good to point that out because you kind of want to know where you came from, especially for newer collectors. But I want to go through these photos, guys, because there's a lot of good stuff on here. this website, I think this website's called Rebel Scum, and they do great breakdowns, and they have a lot of old archive posts for a lot of old figures. So if you guys are ever curious to get some detailed photos on older figures, definitely check out rebelscum.com. It's funny because throughout this post, I think they kind of show you all the different evolutions of the character and how you can display them. And I just think it's very clever. And as I'm scrolling through here, Chris, I'm curious to know, do you ever run the robe on yours, or do you keep them without the robe 24/7? Because I know a lot of people are scared to use that robe, and we're going to touch on it a little bit more later. But have you ever ran the robe on yours, or you just say better safe than sorry and keep it off?
So, for those people who don't know, my brother also collects, and we both had this figure in the collection, but we didn't want to have like two Obi-Wans standing side by side with the same look, so we took advantage of the robe. Mine had the robe on it, and like you said, we'll talk more about the robe after why mine's off, but mine was the off version, and I just left it like that. So it was for a little period of time. I don't think I would put it back on because of that staining, and my Revenge of the Sith has his robe, so yeah, no robe for me.
That makes sense. So you're like, I might as well keep it off, switch it up a little bit. My Revenge of the Sith version has the robe, so it kind of breaks it up in the collection. That makes sense. So we got some comments here. I want to address some comments. Let's see. David says, David, you're jumping the gun, dude. David says reissue. Yes. 2.0, unless you give old man a ratcheted body or a toe cut for Jedi stance, maybe. Yeah, and when we get to the part where we talk about like suggested features for a 2.0, that's a definitely a good thing to bring up for sure. 8-Bit Flea says he has the sideshow version of Old Ben, and it's crazy, though I think the Hot Toys version is much better. That is actually one of their more decent human sideshow figures in terms of Jedi that they've done. Not a terrible figure, of course, to today's standards. It doesn't quite hold up, but it's not bad, in my opinion. Definitely better than the Mace Windu.
Yeah, I almost wanted that one, not for the figure, but for its accessories to go with this one.
I know that Sideshow really did some really cool accessories back in the day. They really did. And I kind of don't blame you for that, because I thought about the same thing myself. Kaiju says, let's be honest, the overwhelming majority of people who want a 2.0 is because they started collecting late and missed the figure. The figure itself is in no need of an update. And it's funny. I mean, so that happens very often, right? And you kind of have to sift through some of those comments. And I think it's perfectly fine if you're a new collector. You're like, oh, I missed out. I was unable to pick it up at the time when it was released because I wasn't collecting then. So I want it right now for retail. And obviously that's an unreal expectation. But then there's the other side of things where there's some people that currently have it in hand and they see some issues with it, or they're thinking to themselves, maybe I could do with a second one, like someone said in the chat earlier. So there's definitely two sides to it. Obviously, that happens a lot, though, with new collectors. They immediately jump the gun and say, I want a new version of this. I want a new version of that, because they weren't able to. But to be honest with you guys, some figures are just not going to get reissued. So you really kind of have to follow everything and kind of pick and choose what you think you should pick up now and what you can wait for. Like, perfect example, newer collectors coming in right now, they're thinking to themselves, should I spend money on a Return of the Jedi Luke? I would tell them absolutely not, because the Return of the Jedi anniversary figures are going to start releasing probably around May. So I think that's a sure bet for a figure that's going to come out. So you kind of have to use context clues and look at current events and decide where you want to spend your money there. But that's just my opinion on it. But definitely well said, because that does happen a lot. And obviously, new people into the hobby need to understand that not everything's going to reissue. So you can't put all of your eggs in one basket, if that makes any sense. Got a lot of people talking about quarter scale tonight. David says, would love a quarter scale Obi-Wan to pair with a quarter scale Vader. Dear Lord, that would be awesome. Yeah, dude, can you imagine recreating that scene where Darth and Obi-Wan meet again for the final time? That would be incredible. Such an awesome display with USB lightsabers lit up with both of them. That would be really cool. That would be fantastic. I don't know. Would you guys pick up a quarter scale Obi-Wan at that point? I'd probably be tempted to pick that up.
With a nice house sculpt? Yeah, I probably would.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the quarter scale Vader's Return of the Jedi, so I'd be kind of nitpicky. I would want them to have to do
A New Hope,
another Vader.
Right? A New Hope version, with the correct chest box and cape and
but yeah, seeing those two that big a format, that's a centerpiece for any collection right there.
that glass table you have, Chris, knock anything on top you have on it and put those two facing off in the middle. That would look
Get rid of
really
that
cool.
wrestling ring.
Right, screw that wrestling ring, dude. Get quarter scale Obi-Wan and Vader
Just
facing
throw
off.
it out the window.
Exactly. You might as well, dude. You couldn't get the pieces to fit properly on it, so you might as well get rid of it. Misfit Wolf. By the way, Misfit, I don't know if I said what's up to you. If not, I know you were in the chat early on, but it didn't load the comments that were a certain point back. So it's good to see you, and I thank you for dropping in early. Misfit says old Ben needs a reissue. It's a win-win for Hot Toys as much as it is for newer collectors who missed out. He's a must-have in everyone's collection. I do think if you're an original trilogy fan, this is a absolute must. And I say that lightly for those who can't afford its current secondary market prices, but it's really a fantastic figure in terms of how it holds up due to its age. Kaiju says another great one is Michael Caine Alfred. Yeah, that's a fantastic sculpt as well. Again, a lot of the old man sculpts, I think Hot Toys did a great job on. Guys, let me scroll through the photos here and we're going to address some more comments. I mean, look at this look here. Like, we're talking about those quarter scale Vader and Obi-Wan facing off. This is how you want to have him, right? With the hood up. You know how Alec Guinness held the lightsaber kind of pointed out? Oh, man. I love that.
That's the only pose I would do with the robe, too. Like, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a great pose, and it's so simple, but it speaks volumes, especially if you're a fan of the original trilogy. Again, if we did get those quarter scales, I mean, that would be such an incredible display right there, in my opinion. Here's a close-up of the sculpt. And again, guys, those of us who do have this in our collection, we'll show you kind of a close-up on the camera. This lighting is not very good, so this sculpt isn't looking too great here. But even in this lighting, you could see kind of like the little mini liver spots and such painted in the layers of the paint. Definitely really looks fantastic in terms of the age on the figure. They did a really good job with this figure for the time. I want to scroll through so we can see some of the accessories. And again, I love this website because they kind of take everything apart and kind of show you all the parts. This almost to me looks like a Rocketeer outfit. You know, it's funny when I look at it that way. That's not creepy at all.
Wow,
bruh.
There's some nightmare fuel. If you guys were hoping for old Ben in your collection, maybe you can grab him. And he's still got the boots on, man.
Did you not see these pictures before you put them up?
Yeah.
No, I didn't scroll down. Like, look, it's looking creepy here, but and then you scroll down, he's still got the boots on. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think
Cowboy Ben. Wow.
I know,
They
right?
definitely did that on purpose.
And guys, it's so funny. Those of people who aren't very detail oriented, I've seen a lot of people post photos of their old Ben. They're like, "Why is mine ripped? Is there a rip in the robes on mine?" Well, nope, that is just part of the figure.
I had to look at mine when I saw it.
A lot of people.
Like, it was very prominent there. It's not as prominent in person, I don't think, but it's there.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people thought that. Oh, look, this is Ben after he faced off with Darth Vader. That was
Is his robe wired, or that wasn't a thing back then?
It's not wired. I don't even think the hood is wired on that one. I think it's completely wireless.
Which is fine.
I mean, it drapes pretty well.
Yeah, I'd rather have it draped anyway versus.
For sure. I agree. I want to address this comment from Beskar. He says 2.0 or quarter scale. I don't care. I'd absolutely buy another one. As good as the OG is, no doubt the paint app on a new version will be better. And yeah, we know that for sure. We can say it with absolute certainty that Hot Toys has come a long way since 2015. And if you think this one's good, they would absolutely knock it out of the park, in my opinion. We have Gap After Dark here. He says, hello, Hot Toys. Hello, all. Good to see you, Gap. I hope you're doing well. It's always great to have you here on this fine Tuesday evening. Let me see here. Now, I did want to show this accessory portion here really quick, guys, because this is going to come into play later when we talk about possible 2.0 additions to a new version of this figure. I just wanted to show you what it comes with. This is the full breakdown. Obviously, they have the belt taken off and everything. But I also wanted to show you this close-up of the belt because we're going to talk about this belt later for a particular reason. But remember this belt, guys, as you're looking at it here. Let me zoom out just a little bit. Remember this belt as you're looking at it as I go off of the page. All right, I'm losing my mind here, guys. Hold on. Remember this belt as you're looking at it here. You could see the pleather is very thin. This is a very thin pleather belt. So remember that later when we talk about condition issues with the figure, because that's definitely a big topic of conversation. You could see, guys, you know, I'm always crying about the amount of hands that Hot Toys offers. And you could see, had I been collecting in 2015, I would have been crying since the beginning of time, because even here, We only have these 5 extra hands here, or these 5 total hands here, I should say. So definitely disappointing, guys. I mean, I don't know what it is with Hot Toys in their hands. I look at these third-party companies like Ryan. You have that Mars Toys Joker, and he has what, 10 to 12 hands, an absolute plethora of hands.
I threw out some of the hands. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't even have it. You didn't throw them out. Get out of here with that. Look, we have in the chat. Austin is here. Austin Nicholas says, "Hello, friends." Austin, it's good to see you, dude. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're excited to talk about Ben Kenobi. It's always great to have you here. And 8-Bit says this Hot Toys old Ben still looks great, and I totally agree. I think it still looks pretty solid. Again, for a figure that came out Q4 of 2015, I think it holds up pretty well. And Clone Trooper is making a comment here about the condition. Again, we're going to talk more about the condition, guys. So repost those comments once we get to the condition. I don't want to get too much into it now. And Beskar says he bets that they go heavy on Jabba's Palace figures. Hey, if you guys watch my top 5 once for Return of the Jedi 40th, most of my votes were Jabba's Palace related figures or Sail Barge related figures. So I definitely agree with you there. But all right, guys, let me pull up the video I wanted to actually. Before we pull up the video, we're going to actually talk about secondary market pricing because I know a lot of people are curious. Let me actually pull up my banner back here. So again, we answered the question, what is the original retailer price, right? $220 before taxes and shipping. But what is the current secondary market price? And again, guys, disclaimer, as we always say, eBay is a little bit of its own world. A lot of the prices on eBay are a bit inflated, especially the higher listings. Sellers on eBay tend to inflate their prices to account for sellers' fees and such. However, some of these sold listings that you see on eBay in terms of the amount, that is what it sells for on Facebook. So, and thankfully, as I was scrolling through, I did see a listing today for this figure, and it sold instantly at the price it was listed at. So that will also give us a bit more insight as to what he's going for on Facebook as well. But guys, as you can see here, we're going to scroll through the listings. And of course, these are sold listings, guys. When you're looking at eBay, you always want to look at sold listings. $400 plus $50.80 shipping. Of course, also don't forget when you purchase things on eBay, you do have to pay taxes as well. $629 brand new in box, best offer accepted. $26.95 shipping plus taxes on top of that. This person did pretty well. Pre-owned $320. As long as there's no issues here, $320 plus $15 shipping. That's a great snag on eBay for sure.
It was a bid though, so they got pretty.
They played it smart, right? They played it. That's how it is sometimes, guys. Instead of just buying it flat out, sometimes you got to play it smart. And this person clearly won because $320 on eBay. And a lot of people ask, can you still get deals on eBay? And this is proof right here, guys. You certainly can. Let's see. Got some other comments flowing through. Oh, here we go. David says, held Ahsoka / Oilers Workshop over the weekend. I don't think Oilers Workshop is 6 scale, Jordan. I don't know if you're quite 6 scale. So David, you're either a really big guy or Oilers kind of put himself in the proper position for you to pick him up. He says it's the best Hot Toys I've ever held in hand. If DX means a new seamless body with steel endoskeleton, count me in. Yeah, Big Dog Pound's a little confused by that too. He says WTF LOL. That's a good one, David. I like that. And as you say it, Oilers Workshop is here. What's up, Jordan? It's good to see you as always. Guys, I always say, if you haven't already, check out Oilers Workshop on Instagram, on YouTube. He does great videos, great shorts, great informative videos. He is very much a creator and a builder. He does some amazing diorama pieces. If you guys are ever looking for anything custom, whether it's for 6 scale, 1/12 scale, whatever, he's your guy. He's got a list going on, I'm sure, but definitely reach out to Jordan. He does absolutely
also his Etsy
work.
store too.
And his Etsy store. That's right. He does have an Etsy store, but check Oilers out. He's such a great guy and he does fantastic stuff. He actually has something of mine on the way to him. I'm not going to spoil it. It's a bit of a fun surprise, but I sent Jordan something over. I hit him up. I'm like, hey, could you do something with this? And he's like, yeah, send it to me. So I'm excited to check out what he does with that. But yeah, guys, check out Oilers Workshop if you haven't already. You definitely got to. He said he held my Ahsoka in person. Haha, at a lot. Okay, so I guess me and all the chat are reading that incorrectly. Actually, I don't know. Let's go back to the comment. Held Ahsoka / Oilers Workshop. So I don't know, Jordan. He kind of put you out there, dude. It's all right, man. I mean, that's what better to do at a toy swap than to hold your buddies, you know? Awesome says, what a welcoming chat. Glad to see you all in here. Brian, Boba, Chris, Big Dog, Beskar, Peyton. Well, it's great to have you here. And yes, we have the best of the best there is in the chat. We appreciate you all for being so welcoming. And I see Collector's Entity in here as well. Exactly, wireless. He has a Wi-Fi 6 running on that robe for sure. That's it. I was thinking that as I said, I'm glad someone else picked up on that little dad joke there. All right, guys, but I kind of want to hear your thoughts, Ryan. What are your thoughts in terms of what this is going for in the secondary market? As you see this figure in other people's collections, I'm sure you've seen photos and videos. Do you think it's worth what people are paying for it? Again, the prices are kind of all over the place, but generally speaking, on average, we're looking at about $400 for this guy.
Yeah, and in the midst of me coughing, I apologize. So I'll get my words out quickly. No, I'm not surprised by any of it, actually. Anything that I see on the buy and sell trade groups, it's honestly, I've never seen it below 500. It's always been 450. I just contradict myself there. I would say, around the 500 mark is 9 times out of 10 where I usually see it. And that's pretty crazy. That one that they stole for 320.
What a steal on eBay, man.
Only 2 days ago, 3 days ago. That's crazy.
From Florida.
March 19th. So, but no, I'm not surprised by the price. It's one of those that kind of hit a certain bracket and maintained it. I mean, so everything I ever see on Facebook, has always been in that price range. I talked to one person where I almost bought one, and I think I got it down to like 450, 460 or something like that. But, as we'll touch on it, I get nervous buying 10-year-old figures because you're worried about the condition issues. And I hate to say it, no shot, spoiler, people aren't always forthcoming,
it's unfortunate,
and genuine, I should say, with what's going on with their stuff. So,
but it is true, I know you hate to say it, but it's true.
Yeah, like the Terminator figures, when you get figures that are in that 10-year-old area, I mean, if you're doing them in the buy and sell trade groups on Facebook, I mean, people have resources and check, you check people out and get references and stuff. But like I said, I'm not shocked by any of this. I'm shocked by the low numbers, but now the 500 plus mark, I'm not surprised by that whatsoever. It's an amazing figure, and I think that it's worth its weight in the price. I think it's worth it.
Yeah, and like well said, and like we mentioned earlier, if you're an original trilogy fan, especially, this is one like it's kind of a must-have. I mean, you don't hear many people who are original trilogy fans say they don't like Ben Kenobi.
It's really funny because it's one of those figures where I'm not a huge New Hope fan. It's actually my Empire is my first. Then if I had to rank the three, Empire, New Hope, then Return of the Jedi.
That's my same order as well.
Like to be honest with you, for a New Hope, I don't even care. Like if I had to choose, I would rather he'd be the first one I want to have out of them, and then maybe a Han Solo. Like I wouldn't even care about Farm Boy Luke. I mean, obviously if it comes up, I'd get it. Like if they did a 2.0 of it, obviously I'm gonna grab it. But in terms of if I had to choose like one figure from a New Hope, this would be the figure. I'm fine with that. 100%.
Oh, for sure. Well said, dude. Well said. I totally agree. And Insane One here says, I feel a great disturbance in the force, as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror. If you don't leave a like and subscribe to this entire fire panel and Hot Toys hotline, hey, we appreciate you too. But yes, guys, if you're here, always so great with your words, Insane One. You're completely unmatched, my friend. But yes, guys, if you haven't already, drop a like on the stream if you're enjoying yourself tonight. And please consider subscribing to the channel. We would very much appreciate it. And check out everybody's links in the description as well. Fat Batman's here. What's up, Fat Batman? Good to see you as always. He says, I want him to pair with my Solo Maul. That'd be pretty cool, dude. Especially if you guys have seen Star Wars Rebels, you would understand why he wants to do that. Very cool. That's a great idea. He said, 8-Bit Flea says that fake leather will turn to powder on most of them. That is true. That is very true, especially the ones new in box. Guys, I always say this, new in box is not always what it's put out to be. New in box is usually the death of a lot of older figures, So honestly, I know it's tempting because you're like, hey, I want something that's never been touched by anyone else. But I promise you, with older figures, in most cases, you want something that's been taken care of by a collector, put on display, possibly conditioned over time if they're in a humid area. That's what you want. You don't want new in box in these older figures, because I've had it personally myself where I've had to send figures back because I open them up that were new in box that I didn't necessarily hunt down new in box, but I opened them up and there's just a pile of pleather pieces sitting inside the box. So definitely be very careful with that, guys. It's not all it's cracked out to be. Now, newer figures, I mean, it's totally understandable because you can get new figures for less than retail right now. Some of them, some of the older like Mandalorian releases and such, but old grails like this with a lot of pleather and like Yondu too. He has
let him breathe,
ton of
man.
pleather.
You
Exactly.
gotta let him breathe.
Exactly. Exactly.
Even the BVS Batman, I hate to say it, people leave that one in the box and that suit deteriorates. You gotta let them breathe.
And a lot of people that I personally know have had that same issue with that BVS Batman. And Clone Trooper well said it. Clone Trooper says new in box equals mystery box, and that's very, very true. Very well said. But finally, guys, before we move on to the next question, Chris, when you look at the secondary market prices on this guy as we're going through eBay, do you think these prices are justifiable after having him in your collection?
I don't know about justifiable, but it is, something fascinating for sure. Like Ryan said, it's never really, I've never really seen it under 400. Sometimes, like, it's usually around that 450 or whatever that I see it in the groups. But there's just something about this figure. I don't know if it's the hype, the sculpt that draws you into him, and maybe you do relate it to the films because every time you can hear all the famous quotes that he was giving Luke and stuff like that. But you guys know I speak about it all the time. Return of the Jedi is my display. That's my original trilogy film for my collection. And besides Chewie, I mean, me and Connor went back and forth on this of what I put him in. But this Ben Kenobi, he's my only A New Hope figure, basically.
Yeah.
And it speaks for itself. So I guess I would say it's justifiable because it's where he sits in there, and he's one I definitely look at all the time.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I agree. And I have a very, very much almost complete A New Hope display, and I very often find myself going over to it, and always my eyes are drawn to him, and then the Stormtrooper, Luke, and Han Solo. Those are such incredible figures. But yeah, I totally agree. It's a total eye grab.
Like A New Hope, out of all the completed like original trilogy figures, I think A New Hope is the most pleasing to look at.
Oh yeah, and they at this point in time, I believe A New Hope has the most releases as well. Very close. Empire Strikes Back is not far behind, but I do think they have the most. Now, Return of the Jedi 40th may change some things up, because I think they're going to go absolutely nuts. Ryan, I think you said minimum 12 or minimum 15.
No, I'm saying minimum 15 to 17.
Yeah, so I'm saying minimum 8, but I do think there's a possibility.
If we think about just Attack of the Clones, we got at least.
There's a lot of clones though too.
No, Attack of the Clones, we got about 13 figures.
Yeah, we did.
You got to include the clones. They can pop out.
I'm not even talking about all those clones. I mean, you just say one clone trooper. But in terms of everybody else, you're talking like 13 figures between the droids, Phase 1, Phase 2. And arguably, Return of the Jedi is a bigger movie than Attack of the Clones.
Oh, it certainly is.
So how could you not do? How could you
going to disrespect it like they did the Empire?
Don't you say that? They're not.
But how could you?
I have a feeling of it, bro.
How could you not give it its due justice? And then, like I said, even if you do all the classic characters, you already have like 8 or 9 characters, even if you do a 2.0 of every main character. So you got to be pushing mid double digits.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I have a lot of faith in Return of the Jedi.
And I say idiots in a good way because we're all together in this.
Well, all I know is if they do a lot of
AP
Return of the Jedi figures, it's going to be an even bigger slap in the face.
Why did we get 4 or 5? One of them.
Ape, don't you dare! I know you have more faith in that.
That's it.
Don't you dare! Can you imagine? Let's see. 12-inch Moose Stream says, "Greetings, community of collectors. Good to see you as always, Moose Stream. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here, and it's great to have you as always. As we're talking about Ben Kenobi, now, real quick, guys, before we start talking about other things and we take a look at this video, there's a very important question, guys. And do we currently have this figure in our collection? So I'm going to jump back to the main camera right now. Chris, do you still have this figure in your collection? I mean, I saw it there a couple minutes ago, but now I can't see it anymore. Do you currently have this figure in your collection, Chris?
Yeah.
Whoa, no way. You still have it, dude? No.
Yeah, he wasn't there the whole time.
I'm just
or
gonna
anything.
reach up real quick, guys. There's just something bothering me up here, and that's that my Obi-Wan is not in front of me right now because it's
Whoa,
one
I
of my
didn't know
favorite
he
figures.
could fly.
He can fly. I don't know if you guys have seen Star Wars Episode 8. Princess Leia was the first to kind of show us that on screen, the Mary Poppins move. But guys, real quick, let me show you. Oh man, look at that. I mean, like I said, guys, in proper lighting, this head sculpt, like it stands up to the prototype so much. It's scary how good it is. And like you said, Chris, it may have just been the lighting in your room, because when I'm looking at this under the lighting, this is so close to the prototype. It's kind of scary. But absolutely fantastic in my opinion, guys. And we're going to bring up Chris. Chris, show yours off real quick. So again, you kind of see it in different lighting as well. I caught you off guard.
I don't want to. I know. I'm just looking.
He was licking his lips.
I don't want to
guys.
move him too much,
Because
I like this pose he's in, but that's not really focusing on him.
Good enough. Good enough. But yes, guys. So
you get different lighting.
there you go. You got a little focus on it. But there you go, guys. So as you can see, yes, both Chris and I do have this in our collection. Ryan, do you currently have Old Ben in your collection?
No.
Oh,
What do you got there, Ryan? Let's see what you got there. That doesn't look like Old Ben to me.
This is Crow Mando getting his weathering removed, so he's shining.
When it was from the back for a second, I laughed so hard because I thought you pulled out Kylo Ren like Ben Solo. I thought it was the wrong Ben.
I would never have that figure in my collection.
How dare?
Well, how dare you?
How dare?
How dare I?
How dare
they? But yes, guys, so two of us do currently have this in our collection. So keep that in mind later. And of course, this question is for the chat as well, guys. Drop that down below. Who currently has this figure in their collection? Some of you already may have mentioned it, but if you haven't already, definitely let us know. I think that might be the Chrome Kenobi. Hey, we did see Obi-Wan when he was younger in some armor multiple times. So it's not completely out of the question.
Yeah.
Not completely out of the question. Beskar says he's the same way, Chris. I guess when Chris is like, "Oh, I don't want to take him out of this pose. I like it." That's probably what he's talking about.
I didn't want Futzin with that lightsaber. How he has it held was pain, bro.
I hear you. Ekwan says they fly now. I think they do. At least mine does. You saw. I mean, I can't make this up, guys. You saw him fly off into the screen. So we have Loco Lou in the chat. He says, "What's popping, people? Just stopping by to say hi and hit that like button. You should too. Appreciate that, dude. Good to see you, and I very much appreciate that." Let's see. Ian says that Mary Poppins shit in Last Jedi got me so damn mad. Yeah, dude, it's a meme at this point, right? It's the pain has eased a little bit as the years have progressed. So Boba says, do not have the OG Ben. Looks great though. I totally agree. And I hope I was able to show you guys in decent lighting what he actually looks like, because I think he looks pretty fantastic. Let's see. Insane Was says, got him, love him. Well said, dude. You really don't have to say much about this one. 8-Bit says he doesn't have it in the collection, but at least he has a DeLorean. That is true.
I'll trade a broken DeLorean for the old Ben.
But hey, your boy made out, right? I mean, talk about dodging a bullet. I'm sitting here crying about my DeLorean.
Hey, we both did. We both
me
got
and Chris
Obi's
are crying.
and dodged.
I know, right?
I was a pawn and I went first.
Exactly. Beskar says, "Yep, have it. Had to get it on the secondary market. Got it at the height of value, but worth it." And that's exactly what I was saying earlier, Beskar. Whatever you spent, as long as you're happy with it and it sits right with you, that's all that matters. But let's see, guys. Let's get this video going. This is actually a newer unboxing, thanks to Man of Hot Collectibles. Just so we have something to watch in the background when we continue to talk about it. But
love that box, by the way. It's so simple.
Fantastic. And I often say this, I do appreciate the complexity of the Marvel boxes and the flashiness, but also at the same time,
these are better.
At the same time, I was going to say, I like the shoebox style box much more than that crappy open tab. It's just simple and it works. And obviously Disney, this is their kind of mandate for the packaging. If you look across their different lines for larger scales, this is really what the packaging looks like for the most part.
So I just wanted to touch on, I'll talk more wide later, but I actually got mine loose. I'll talk about price and stuff later on, but so I don't have the box. It's the only thing missing.
You know who has that box? Me.
Yeah, you.
But hey, you did. To be fair, I'm very happy. So, kind of a quick story, right, about how Chris and I got this figure, guys. And I did say I would mention how much I paid for this guy. My girlfriend is watching, but I've had this figure for a
Well,
long
actually,
time,
that's
so.
Kevin's.
Oh, so
doesn't
Kevin
need it.
has that one. Kevin
Yeah,
has. That's
but
right.
I bought mine loose.
You
as
got
well.
yours in Mercari, but I'll tell the story
Yeah.
anyway. So his brother, Chris's brother, Kevin, has the other one. I actually ended up getting two, right? So I originally bought one. It had some issues, and we're going to talk about these issues more in depth. But let's just say the guy sent it to me. He wasn't honest about the condition. And when I looked closely, when I unboxed it, he actually crappily painted the forehead over. You could tell the paint didn't match at all. He didn't even bother to like water down the acrylic paint to make it thinner to lay better. It was just slathered on there, thick as can be. I ended up taking the paint off, and I realized that there was a big dye stain on his forehead. So at that point, I reached out to Chris's brother. I said, hey, dude, I've got a line on another Obi-Wan. Would you want this one? I gave it to him for a really cheap price. I want to say it was probably like $230 or something like that. Something cheap.
Mhm.
It was pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And I was like, let me keep the box because the other one I'm buying is loose, and we'll call it a deal. I'll sell it to you for $230. He was like, sure. So the guy did give me a partial refund as well for the damaged figure. So I think I originally paid like $320. He refunded me like $100, and then I sold it to his brother. So at the end of the day, we both got our Obi-Wans very cheap. Like he paid $220 for his, and I paid like $200 for mine.
Who fixed the head? Was it you that did?
I removed all of the paint just to show him how bad it was, and he was like, "Yeah, I could work with that." He actually was the one who repainted it
because he did a good job. So once I got mine in, but he did try to he wanted to buy mine and then give me head, and I was like,
no, you're like, get out of here.
You can't even tell when you have it in hand though, or I mean, hold on, you can't even tell unless you have another one side by side. Like he did such
I
a
believe
great
it. I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it. I just realized the playback speed wasn't changed, but yeah. So guys, that really ended up working out not only in my favor but my friend's favor. So he got his for $220. I got mine for $200. Mine actually doesn't have the original lightsaber arm as it originally came. It's actually a CFL custom lightsaber arm. So they took the original lightsaber arm and wired it up. So maybe, just maybe, when we start getting all these USB lightsabers, I might eventually bust it out and put it in my display. But that's what mine came with. It came with that lightsaber arm, and I'll
trade you that for the lightsaber arm.
If I'd ever end up using it, I may consider it, but we'll see. Once all the USB lightsabers come in,
that's a no.
No, I may actually consider it because you know how I am. I'm a completionist with the parts, and I like having everything original. So I may change my mind on it eventually. But I want to see. I want to see how I feel about the USB parts once everything shows up, like all the USB lightsabers. If I end up using those, maybe I'll use it. Let's see. Where's the comment I was looking for? Okay, here we go. Clone Trooper says OG Ben is at the top of my secondary wish list. Just scared to pull the trigger at these prices due to condition concerns, and that's a very valid point for sure. And guys, as we're talking about that, I want to bring up the next topic, which is, actually, before we get to that, I want to move this question up. We're going to do this question first. Are there any known condition issues due to aging with this figure? Unfortunately, guys, I could not find any photos. However, earlier when I was showing you those breakdown photos of all the different parts, I showed you that belt, and I said, pay close attention to this. It's a very thin piece of pleather. Now, the reason I say that, and again, guys, when I mentioned these issues, I saw some people in the chat earlier saying, oh, mine doesn't have this issue. Mine doesn't either, but I know a lot of collectors have had these issues, so I have to bring it up. And now that it's being mentioned by Clone Trooper in the chat, it's a perfect time to talk about it. So the first big issue, guys, is deterioration of the pleather. So the pleather on this belt and on the boots is very, very thin. Thin to the point where you have to be very careful even when you're handling it, whether yours has any visible cracks or not. I would recommend being very careful. Someone who often watches the channel and is a member of the Discord, Pen. I know you guys have seen her occasionally in here. She, I remember, was conditioning her, and hers in the little pouch on the side just cracked off and fell off. So you have to be very careful, guys. This pleather is very thin, and it gets dry very fast. So actually, before I started the stream, I'm like, let me condition this real quick because I'm going to be handling it. So yeah, be very careful. And I'll give you guys a quick close-up of the pouch I'm talking about. And it's definitely scary to handle, but let me show you real quick. So you see that little pouch hanging off the side there, guys? That's the pouch I'm talking about. If I can get a little bit closer, you see those little, let me move my mic here. You see those little loops that it's attached to on the metal loops on the belt? That's what broke on her, and I've seen that happen to a few people. So that's definitely a notable condition issue with this figure that you want to keep a close eye on if you're purchasing this figure. And then the next thing, guys, are the boots. They also have the same thin pleather. You can feel it. And again, the boots feel really, really dry, even after you freshly condition them. It's just a really cheap pleather they use on this. And Chris, you can attest to that having this figure in hand. It's kind of some of the worst pleather.
Every
right?
time I do, it feels like it didn't even.
It's dry as the Sahara, right? I mean, it's crazy.
That's why I just try not to touch them as much as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm kind of the same way. And like here, Dante is like pushing it up and stuff. I would never do that because, again, I've had that issue with my A New Hope Chewbacca. I was conditioning it and I was moving it around to get to the other side, and the pouch cracked on me. So I have to be more careful with some of these older figures because I've had it happen to me, you know. David says, I have had 0 aging issues, sent you pics on IG. I'll definitely take a look. He says he lives in the high. So yeah, you basically lack the humidity that would cause these issues. Here in Maryland, where Chris and I are, we have ever evolving, changing seasons. So we do get humidity. So you definitely have to be careful with that for sure. And then another issue that I wanted to mention, and some of you guys may be able to comment on this because you may have had issues with other figures and maybe not on this one, but this one has had really, really bad dye transfer issues. And I saw quite a few people in chat say, well, I didn't have issues with mine. And I've had issues with mine either, but that's because I don't run the robes on them. I will say that figure also that Chris's brother purchased from me, it also had dye transfer on the hands as well, where the robe kind of drapes over the hands. So this figure has a lot of issues with dye transfer, and definitely check out Chris's video. He did a while back on removing the dye from robes, because you might have to do that 2 or 3 times with this one if you do end up picking this figure and you want to display him with the robe, because it has a ton of excess dye in it. But Chris, kind of talk about your experience with that and kind of share your thoughts on what you should do to prevent that with this guy.
I mean, if you want to wear the robe, it's pretty much like he said. You can check the video out on my channel. It's pretty basic. It's like dry washing, or not dry washing, but hand washing clothes, because you never want to put these things in the washing machine. Like, absolutely do not do that. And then they also have to air dry as well. But it's a simple tutorial. It's not long at all, and it actually doesn't take long to do. The longest part is waiting for it to dry or whatever. But once you do, like, you'll be extremely happy, and you'll probably be extremely, like, satisfied watching how much dye comes out of it. Like, it's honestly pretty sick how much is loaded in there. And sometimes, here's another great tip: if you're buying secondary, I always ask the shipper to take the robes off if they have when they ship it, just in case. You never know if there's humid conditions on the way, you know, to your house or whatever. But another thing I would say, as far as flaws, I've noticed on mine, I don't know if Connor's has it, but like the Anakin with the hair, he had threading issues. Mine has a little bit of threading issues, at least
mine does not
around the hands. But it may just be from swapping how I got it, but I've noticed it a lot more recently than before. I know whatever material, it's just super thin. Like, it just feels like all the materials they used on it are
cheap. They
a lot
cheap, you know.
Yeah, a lot thinner, because he's supposed to be raggedy anyway. So I guess it's the effect. But just be careful. Just look at photos. All the above.
I agree. And I want to touch on this comment, and then I kind of want to hear Ryan's thoughts on these issues. And I want to pose a question to Ryan. But 8-Bit Flea says, I made the mistake of letting movers move everything, including my collection, and some stuff walked, including this old Ben. Don't let movers move your collection, guys. Learn the hard way. Yeah, I would absolutely lose my mind, and that would be a thing that would be in the back of my head forever, and I would never forget it. I'm really sorry to hear that, dude. I mean, there's nothing worse than thieves, right? It's very unfortunate, but I know you've probably got a lot of that stuff back, and then
that happened to me with my authentic skill ring. All my WWs I used to have in the past, everything gone, the whole thing.
That's a shame. I remember years ago that happened to me with Pokemon cards. My brother and I had quite a big collection, and someone stole our binder out of my grandfather's car when I was a kid, and that was unfortunate for sure. It crushed me.
I never let movers do anything anymore.
Yeah, I agree. Let them move the stuff that they can't easily steal, like a bed or a dresser or
furniture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Beskar Kid says, sunlight and oil from fingers are the absolute worst for pleather. I agree. Whenever I handle my figures or whenever I do a review, I always wash my hands first just to get those excess oils, or from if I got some Cheeto dust, whatever I'm eating before then. I always wash my hands. But Ryan, I kind of want to pose a question
the fingers. Sorry.
So it was due to be said. That's okay. But Ryan, I kind of want to ask you, hearing about these condition issues, do you think, and this is a question I'm specifically posing to you, do you think that this should scare people away from purchasing this figure on the secondary market, especially knowing what the price is for them right now?
No, because there's other figures. I think these are not, I don't want to say they're common issues, but they're known issues when you have these types of elements on this figure. An example, because I'm just trying to think of examples of figures that I had that had similar issues. Guardians of the Galaxy Star-Lord Volume 2, the deluxe, that came with their long red jacket.
The trench coat, yeah.
Staining on the neck was common. The leather,
mine has that,
the pleather breaking down on the jacket. I've seen the deteriorated. I saw on one post, like I said, sorry for my voice, I'm getting over allergies. I know a couple days ago, someone posted a photo of theirs where the jacket was non-existent. It was like there was practically no red on it anymore because it just fell off, to the point where they'd had to go buy a whole nother jacket. So when you're dealing with figures that have a lot of these type of elements on them, I'm not surprised. Like even like the Terminator figures, they're leather or whatever they use, they can, there's always, the risk is always there when you have that high of those components on a figure. So the answer is no. I'm not surprised. The problem, I guess it still goes back to my original point, is you got to have faith in the person you're buying it from.
Yeah.
And you got to watch, like I said, I hate to say it, but the person who paid $320 on eBay, they may or may not know what they're getting until they open the box. It's just, I mean, obviously there's PayPal.
It is a gamble. Yeah.
There's a process to get it rectified. So the chances of getting fully scammed nowadays is very hard. Even on the buy and sell trade groups, a lot of people do goods and services through PayPal, so that way there's a chance of getting your stuff back. So, but it's still a process of haggling, getting it back. I get that.
Yeah.
So, no. Long story short, I just gave you a novel to say no. I'm not surprised.
No, it's well said. Definitely really well said, and stuff newer collectors need to hear.
Yeah, and you don't have to be an older collector. You could be in the game for 2-3 years. Like I've been in the game since 2020, and I know because I had Star-Lord. I got rid of. I sold them, but I had Star-Lord. Luckily, the mine did not have any of those issues. He even has the red scarf that had staining issues. People wouldn't put that on their, and I had it fully scarf, jacket, everything, no issues. So, like I said, it just depends on the figure that has all these elements on there. You're going to run the same exact risk. And when did Star-Lord come out? He came out in 2000.
Right.
Was it 17?
That 16? First version? Are you talking about the Volume 2?
Volume 2. It was Volume 2.
Yeah, it would have been 2017, I think.
So, I mean, he's not that far off. Wow. I mean, 15 to 17. They're only talking, 2-year difference.
Yeah, that's true. Well said, Ryan. And I definitely appreciate that bit of advice for newer collectors, because again, it's all about knowing who you buy from. The safest place is like the 16 Republic BST and places like that on Facebook, where you can get feedback about people before you make your purchase. Definitely. And once again, guys, if you haven't already, check out my video on buying and selling, or excuse me, really just buying. It's not really, I really don't talk about much about selling, but it kind of applies the same way. But my buying figures in 2022, 2023 guide, especially if you're new, give you some insight in where to buy from. And I have some links to different Facebook groups and such. But finally, guys, and I promise Chris and Ryan, this week, I'm going to do it a little differently. Instead of me just blowing through all of my wants for new updates and or features for a 2.0 release, I'm going to say 3. I'll limit us each to 3. And then if we have some spillover that hasn't been said yet, we can then kind of free for all.
Here we go. He's going to say all 3 of mine. Let's go.
I promise you I won't.
I know, right? That's what I was thinking.
So now some of them but I promise you one of them.
Honestly, can I be real? I thought Connor was going to say he's going to go last and let us go first.
Okay. There's one that I hope he doesn't say.
So. No, now he.
So I'll do 2. I'll say this.
Go.
My first 2 ones will be obvious. My final one, I guarantee you guys.
No, do all 3 of them. Just do all 3.
So my first one, guys, of course, we talked about the issues with the pleather. it's going to be real leather. And we have a comment here from 8-Bit Flea. He says, Hot Toys needs to stop with the fake leather. I'll happily pay a little more if they use real leather. So number one for me, the most important thing is going to be real leather on this guy. Real leather boots, real leather belt, good to go. You know what I mean? So number one is going to be real leather. Number two, we kind of briefly talked about this, but a USB lightsaber is a very obvious one for all the Jedi and Sith alike. USB lightsaber is something that they're doing a lot now for most figures. So I think this would be awesome if they included USB lightsaber and kind of brought it up to their current standard for the Jedi figures. My final one, which is kind of a little different different approach, so I don't take anything from you guys. So I think it would be cool to have like a diorama base that is similar to the Death Star walls that Obi-Wan and Vader were fighting in front of.
Very
so kind of
versatile.
behind them, a diorama base. And hey, if they decide to give us another New Hope Vader, maybe like a base that connects with them, that kind of creates the whole
nice.
scene. You know, that would be my idea, like a cool diorama base to have in the background. But yeah, that's my number three. I want to say what's up real quick before we move on to Ryan to Blue Tattoo. Good to see you as always, Blue Tattoo. It's great to have you here. But Ryan, now that you've heard my three, what are three possible updates or new features that you would like to see if this got a 2.0 release?
So this is, excuse me. So I want to say the leather. That's
I mean,
almost
if that's
obvious.
important to you,
No, it is, because
you can
of the
double
flavor,
down on it.
you know. But I'm trying to think of different things that he can come with, and I think this is going to formulate to my idea whether or not it needs a 2.0 or not. Because in the movie, I'm trying to think of accessories, like when you show those accessories to the figure, like could they maybe give us Anakin's lightsaber, like Luke's lightsaber? You know, when he presents it to him.
Hey,
That's another, like he has another. But I mean, that's
Knew it wouldn't get to me. No, it wouldn't get to me.
Sorry. So like that would be just another accessory, because he, you know, it comes with enough for what the character offered in the movie. So even like I was thinking that, and then forgive me because I don't know every single character's name in Star Wars, but who's the character he cuts the arm off in Mos Eisley?
Oh, what is his name?
When he pulls out his first time.
I don't even know, but we know what you're talking
You know what I'm
about.
talking about? Like, I mean, have like the arm, you know, little,
Pig
like,
face, dude. What is his
like
That'd
name?
be
having like
kinda
an accessory
crazy.
laying on the floor or something like that. You know what I mean? Like as an accessory, you'd have like an arm. You know, just I'm thinking of things outside the box, aside from stuff like leather, like and I'll explain this why. So I'm not going to talk about leather. So Luke's lightsaber, maybe like the arm,
Dr. Cornelius.
yeah,
That's
like
who
when he
you're
cut his
thinking
arm
of.
off, like
Mhm.
you know. So there's that, and then I'm trying to think of other, you know, other accessories or something like that. You know, it's hard because, you know, and I'm all doubling down on I'll double down on the diorama base, dude. It could either be like Mos Eisley or it could be the Death Star, because I don't think they do enough of those, to be honest with you. I think they give Marvel some good treatment when it comes to diorama stuff. I think Star Wars is definitely lacking, and I like that versatility that you could use it with another character. So I'm gonna double down on the diorama base, definitely something like that. Do something different.
It'd be cool, and they could even do like a Tatooine style diorama base.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I mean. They do something, but
Yeah.
not just a crappy base, but like something that's cool that like you could use for photography or something like that. Yeah, I'll double down on that one. 100%.
Yeah, sorry. Oh, sorry, guys. It's not. I said it was Dr. Cornelius. You're right. It's Pondo Baba that gets his arm cut off. Sorry, Pondo Baba. Thank you,
I had
everybody
one
in the
more
chat.
too. I could do, but not a big deal.
Well, we'll let Chris go. And
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
if there's some that haven't been said, and there's one in the chat that's been said, but I'll let Chris go first and see if he actually mentions this one. If not, we'll bring it up. But Chris, what are some updates or new features you would like to see if this did get a 2.0 release?
Yeah, nobody said eyeball rolling. I mean, that's a given. They're coming with that.
So
now.
that was one I'm glad
So
I did.
that's kind of a cop out, but
hey, but
yeah,
it's definitely a welcomed addition for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna touch on a little bit of what Ryan said. So he did say Luke's lightsaber, but I was thinking if they've done dioramas as big as a throne or something, they could easily maybe give the chest that comes with it.
Yeah.
I know the new Obi-Wan, they did the little one that comes with. If you got that exclusive, it has Anakin's and his Revenge of the Sith saber in there.
Yeah.
So that'd be pretty cool to maybe have that whole diorama chest thing.
That's a good one. I like that.
8-Bit Flea also said, like, you know, the accessories you and I both said or admitted that we would want to see that stuff maybe come with this one, like as far as the training bot and everything like that. So
The helmet. I was thinking the helmet. that he puts
See,
over
I
Luke's
mean-
Yeah,
head.
but see, that comes with Luke.
Oh,
doesn't
does it? I
So-
don't know. I don't
Luke
know.
comes with the helmet. It comes with the training bot. He comes
Yeah,
with
so it
the
almost it's like
Tatooine gear. Everything.
Yeah, I didn't know what came
Yeah.
with Luke because I don't.
Yeah.
I don't even know if this is possible. If we're talking dioramas, getting
He's like a
really
real
freaking
lightsaber.
no, getting really extravagant here is the where he's creeping around, but he's turning off the the tractor beam or whatever. Like, I don't know. It could be one of those cardboard backdrops.
I mean, hey, I mean,
don't
look,
know, but
the integrated suit Spider-Man base. That's very involved and
Yeah.
very detailed. So
And
I
when we
wouldn't
say
say that's unreal
diorama,
possibility.
I mean, I'm not talking about a flat display that he stands on. I'm talking like full wall
Right.
behind.
Exactly.
How many
Yeah,
times you
for
see those
sure.
on? How many times you see those on Etsy, and they're not hard to produce, but you see people,
Mhm.
a lot of photography.
I
people
almost
just
bought
want,
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
like just the Death Star window, the lights behind
Right.
it.
Kind of like
Yeah.
the Stormtrooper Han
It's
and
very
Luke have.
basic, but it's
Yeah.
something that's so cool that, and it doesn't have to be cardboard. It could be made out of plastic and
Yeah.
done right. That's what I mean when I say, and I know Connor, you mean the same thing, like diorama.
Yeah.
We're not talking
Mhm.
about a sand base with 2 footprints in it that gets recycled.
Yeah, like our
1,300
boy
times.
8-Bits making the jokes over here. He said,
Yeah,
"Can't wait
yeah.
for the footprint bases
Yeah,
coming
definitely not
back."
the footprints, man.
No, thank you. Payton says USB lightsaber. Now, Chris, is that all of yours? Did you have any more that you wanted to throw in before we start doing a round robin here?
A piece of me almost wanted to say Qui-Gon Saber. I did that for myself, but it's not even like a
piece
thing
of
we
me.
saw.
Yeah.
So I can't really say that.
I don't think they would. Yeah. So one that no one had mentioned, and I maybe someone in the chat had said it earlier, but a ratcheted body would be one that I would like to see. Just because I will say the body on this one, it's not the worst body, but it is a little bit loose. Mine's a little bit loose, so the ratchets obviously will kind of help it stand the test of time a little bit more. So I would love to see a ratcheted body. Let's see. David says all Jedis need a toe cut to perform some serious battle stances, or even maybe like I like the idea of like a split cut boot. If they don't do leather, they could do a split cut boot. I love the split cut boot.
It's cool
I really
for the
do.
Marvel, but for my Star Wars fit, like I like the realism.
If they're going to do that, I would like to see more in terms of better materials for the leather. But I see what you're saying.
Like, yeah, unless it's like somebody like Django where you have to have like a shin armor or something, that's cool to me.
Yeah.
Like then that's fine because it works.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. Collector Joey is here. Collector Joey says, "What is up, everyone? What's up, Collector Joey? I hope you're doing well." And right at the same time, we have Commander Green. My boy HG says, "Hey, gentlemen. Hello to you, HG. I hope you're doing well." And then insane one over here, Blasphemy. He's saying, "I need to open my Fawn Bar Luke. He's been collecting dust." I will say, guys, out of all of the Luke figures, I think Fawn Boy Luke, and this may be sacrilege to some of you who own it, but I think that's the worst sculpt. And I own 2 of those figures. I love the figure. I love that Luke for look. But I think out of all of the Lukes, that is the weakest of all of the Luke sculpts.
My brother keeps a blast shield on.
Yeah, so I actually still have to put the helmet on my one, the training helmet. But Misfit Wolf says no one ever mentions it, but A New Hope Leia is a new to a 2.0. She's not very good. I wouldn't say she's not very good. I have that figure in my collection. I think the sculpt is fantastic.
It's
soft. The sculpt is very soft.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite Leia sculpt to date is the Return of the Jedi. It's fantastic. I love the paintwork. I love the sculpt.
Brother.
I think she looks great. Yeah, she looks awesome. She really does. But he's also saying we need a Boosh Leia and Ewok Village Leia 2-pack with another Ewok. Dude, I'm on board with the Ewoks. I've said it many times. My favorite Ewok is Tebow. I would love to get a Tebow, but I will take Low Gray and any other Ewoks. I would love to see him, or any just generic no-name Ewoks in a pack.
Just holding the Ewok alone, like it's fascinating holding that.
I
was so fascinated by that little thing.
Really? David says Snowspeeder Luke all day long. Snowspeeder Luke, I don't think that's the worst head sculpt. I really don't. If that's what you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you see the closing. If the mouth was closed, it'd be a lot better than what it is.
I have no issues with that sculpt. I think it's good. The best, in my opinion, to date, my favorite, and I don't have the Mando Luke in hand, so that's not counting it. But as far as what I have in hand, exactly, is the deluxe Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker with the windswept hair. I love the windswept hair. It's fantastic. It really is. Polo Ralph Lauren is here. What's up, Polo? He says, A New Hope Leia, your mouth to God's ears. I love it. Yes, we need an Ewok Village. I would love to see an Ewok Village, dude. I have Tebow, or excuse me, I have I have the Wicket and Leia 2-pack, and I resisted getting that one. Oh, okay. Sorry. David said it's his favorite Luke. I apologize. His favorite Luke, and that's a fantastic figure. I love that figure. But yeah, Beskar, I would love to get an Ewok Village. I love the Wicket. I resisted getting that Wicket for so long, and I eventually sold my single Leia and paid for the 2-pack and basically got it for the same price through pop culture with rewards and stuff. And I'm very glad that I did while that was still in stock because I love the Wicket now. But guys, finally, our final question. Actually, we have 2 questions, but our final main question. Does this figure, the A New Hope MMS 283 Ben Kenobi, does it deserve a 2.0 or should it be left alone? So this is a tough one for me, guys, because I have it in my collection, and I said many times to you guys that I think it's a fantastic figure, but I can't overlook those condition issues. I can't overlook those condition issues. And again, I know a lot of people in the chat who have it like, I don't have those issues, but I know a lot of people that have. So because of that, I'm going to have to say, I think it could use a 2.0. And again, the stuff that we were mentioning really got me thinking. The stuff in the chat, or the discussion we had with the chat and about the 2.0 features really got me thinking. I'm like, a diorama display base would be really cool. So because of that, even though I already own him and have him in my collection, why not give me another one with real leather, with rolling eyeballs, with a USB lightsaber that I could actually put the robe on, because maybe they'll fix the robe by then. You never know. So I think I'm going to say yes on this one. With that being said, though, I still think this is an absolutely fantastic figure. And if it did not get a 2.0, me personally, I'd be happy with the one that I have. Because I look at it and it does not look like an old figure by any means. So I'm going to say, yes, I do think it deserves a 2.0. Ryan, do you think this deserves a 2.0 or should it be left alone?
Nope, doesn't need one. Does not need a 2.0. The reason why I was on the fence about it, and I know I was asking you like what your thoughts were about it, I don't think so. This is just my mindset. It's my theory. When I think of a figure needing a 2.0, the key word is there, does it need it? Now, in my opinion, I'm separating the fact, do I want it? Want versus need. Like, of course, I'd want the figure. If they released it tomorrow, I day one pre-order the thing. I think anybody would,
Oh, yeah.
It's like 89 Batman. I have 89 Batman. I'm still getting the new one. So it just goes, it doesn't matter.
Right.
My whole thing is that in my mind, my whacked up mind, and I'm thinking of this way, is that if Hot Toys was to do a 2.0 or a new one, I think a lot of things we talked about would automatically already be done to it, in my opinion. Yeah. So, like, for example, paint application. Naturally, the paint apps are going to be better. It's 10 years newer, 10-year difference in technology. Eye rolling system. Obviously, I think it would have an eye rolling system because of almost every figure has an eye rolling system. USB lightsaber, that's a given. I think it would already have one. Mm-hmm. The only thing I'm kind of on the fence about is, would it have real leather? That's one I think people are going to have to just deal with it, because Hot Toys, and that's a gripe that I have with them, they're not consistent with their leather application of who gets what. So that being said, and I'll go against you on this one, Connor. I have not seen a lot of people with issues of the figure, so I'll take that into consideration. So therefore, I don't know why this figure would need a 2.0. There's nothing new, just like the accessories. I was stretching when I said Luke's lightsaber. I could care less if it came with it or not, to be honest with you. There's not much that the figure needs. It represents the figure from the movie, I think, perfectly. And like I said, I'm not saying if they didn't do it, I would buy it, but I don't think the figure, on terms of the priority list of 2.0s, it's at the bottom. I don't think it needs to be done at all. That's my fair.
Well said. Well said. Boba Fettuccini disagrees, though. He says it's deserving of a 2.0 just because it's friggin' Obi-Wan.
No, that's the fandom. I have to separate that, though. That's the problem. That's the fan. I have to separate it.
A lot of 2.0s in the chat tonight. And I can't wait to take a look at the poll.
The poll, I mean, I won't say. No.
I haven't looked. I want to be surprised, Ryan. I want to be surprised. We're going to bring it up, but I'm very curious to see what the poll says. I'm very curious.
I've been watching it tread for a while, and then
I haven't looked at it all because I'm like, I'm very
fandom took
unsure.
Over.
It may have. We're going to take a look at it. But finally, Chris, I think as you pointed your lightsaber at me, you might agree with Ryan. But does this figure deserve a 2.0 or should it be left alone?
I think it should be left alone.
Ooh.
I thought about it a bit today.
One of us.
And I just couldn't. one of us. I just couldn't find a reason for them to do it again besides updating it with all that stuff that they have been. I mean, if he's still considered in the top 5 sculpt, not a lot of people, you know, have those issues that we talk about. He's still selling at a very high price. Like, yeah, that part sucks at it, but that basically just tells you how great this figure is. And then on top of that, not that excluding that I have it aside, if they did a 2 and I didn't have it, I don't know necessarily that I would jump at it. Like I said, I don't collect much of New Hope. He's basically one of my only ones, if we're not counting Chewie.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It just wouldn't be in the market for me. I think I jumped on him because he was, I guess I'll say, for hype or whatever, and the sculpt was good. And when you watch the films, it sucks. He's a Force ghost in the other ones, so I figured he'd pick up. But yeah, I don't see 2.0, man.
That's fair. That's fair. R. Castro says, I don't want to pay $400 or $500, so I'll welcome a 2.0. I hear you. He's an expensive figure for sure. 8-Bit Flea, I think I actually already read this one. Sorry. Actually, I meant to read this one from Blue Tattoo. He says, I hope we get a 2.0 so good with all the bells and whistles that it'll seem like a 3.0 by now. LOL. 8-Bit's kind of calling you out. He says, I mean, if you have it, you will say don't make another.
I disagree with that. Yeah, no, I have the 89 Batman, and I'm buying the new one. I welcome. I'll just say this. I'm not one of those reissue people where it's like, I think everyone deserves a chance. I welcome reissues. I have no problem with it. And like I said, I'll buy probably duplicates of what I have for sceneries and stuff. It's just that too. I feel like I'm separating my want for what is the real reason. And like the 89 Batman, like realistically, we didn't need a new 89 Batman. It just fell into the hype with the diorama, the movie, and all that stuff. That's what really drove the hype on that. It didn't really need a 2.0, but we got it though. And I'm still buying it, but
yeah,
we didn't need it though. Definitely not.
I'm with that too. That's like TASM 2 Spider-Man.
Yeah,
gonna end up getting that one.
Yeah, but I welcome it for anybody that didn't get a chance to get it. I welcome.
Yeah. So the final question, guys, is when do you foresee this figure re-releasing? Now, I hate to say it, guys, but as I'm looking at it right now, I don't see a good spot for this to fit in the near future. I really don't. Obviously, this whole year, right, is going to be taken up by a lot of Star Wars that's already established, right? We've got Mandalorian Season 3 on the horizon. We've got Andor that they still have to go back and do, and I do think that they will. We've got probably they're going to go back and finish off the Inquisitors from Kenobi. We saw full figures of those. They recently, not long ago, a few months ago, put them out on display. So I don't think that this Obi-Wan really fits in anywhere. Now, some may say, who are hopeful, maybe a Toy Fair exclusive. I don't think that this is going to be at least not this year. I just don't see it fitting in. There's just too much Hot Toys is going on. We got Flash, the Flash movie. They're going to go absolutely nuts for the Flash movie. Return of the Jedi 40th. They're going to go nuts. So honestly, guys, this one you may be waiting for. Maybe in a couple years they do an exclusive, or maybe the next anniversary for A New Hope, whatever year that is. I haven't done the math there, but whenever the next anniversary is for A New Hope, maybe we'll see it then. It's just hard for me to see where this one fits in. So if I were a collector who really wanted this figure, I'd probably try to hunt it down for a deal right now. If I really wanted it, like try to get the best deal possible. That's my thought on it. Because, and I know I'm kind of crushing you guys, because I said I would welcome a 2.0, but I don't think it's going to come out anytime soon. I really don't. It just doesn't seem like something that's on their radar whatsoever when it comes to Star Wars. But we'll rotate the other way this time. Chris, since you're already kind of starting to talk about it, when do you foresee this figure re-releasing?
Well, because I said to leave it alone. I really don't see it coming unless it was like just really. I mean, after Mando, maybe shows have slowed down. There's nothing to do. It's an anniversary, or maybe in memory of Alec Guinness himself that they're like, hey, here's this special edition of this, a 2.0. You know, anything can happen with Hot Toys. They're very unpredictable. But I will say, for the price that he is, at least for me, I collect things that I really, really love. It has to mean something to me for it to have a spot in these detoffs. I'd be willing to pay that price that he is if I really wanted it, and I have for some figures. So
Yeah.
that wouldn't be a stopping point for me or something that would get in the way of me collecting it. And to be honest, he'd also probably be what, a few $100 off of that now if he was sold new anyway. Now, granted, you will get all of those, pro
Like the upgrades
those
and
perks
such,
or
yeah.
whatever. So, with the lightsaber, rolling eyes,
Yeah.
it's probably worth it. But yeah, I
Yeah.
just don't see it coming though.
And it seems like a lot of people in the chat are agreeing with us. We got 8-Bit Flea saying, I don't see it happening for a long time. Insane One says, I'll see N1 before we see a reissue, in my humble opinion. And yeah, I mean, you guys know I'm a firm believer in the M1, and I think it's going to happen. But yeah, I think that's a sure bet that we're going to see the N1 before this reissues. Okay, there we go. So Boba says 50th anniversary of the OG movies in 4 years. So that's crazy. 50 years. Yeah, 1977. I bet they will release everything for So just like we're getting hyped up for the 40th anniversary, and like Tactical Jackal is saying nothing but Return of the Jedi in 2023 for OT will be released. And yeah, I think we're gonna see mostly Return of the Jedi 40th stuff this year. And Ryan's putting his cards on 15. So imagine they go that crazy. That's a lot on their plate, guys. Especially maybe they'll finally give us some sort of Millennium Falcon like cockpit diorama or something crazy like that. You never know. But yes,
before.
They have. And Julia says 2027. Yep.
That's my answer for this one coming around is 2027.
So you think when we do see this, it'll be the 50th?
I mean, the problem with Hot Toys nowadays is I feel like I would say logic dictates, but they do stuff so ass backwards, to be frank.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like
that is true.
No, it really is. It's true. They do stuff ass backwards. Like Andor. Why don't we have a figure from Andor? Like,
Still waiting.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think the ship has sailed. That's my personal opinion. You might get season 2 for some reason, but I feel like it's whatever. But yeah, I mean, if I was smart business, especially if Return of the Jedi 40th does really well in terms of sales, why wouldn't people deplete their wallets for the big 50 anniversary for New Hope? You know what I mean? It's only 4 years away, and if Return of the Jedi success for 40th is so good, it doesn't make any sense why they wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
it's a no-brainer.
I agree. 8-Bit Flea says he would pay $350 or $400 max because the fake leather won't last. Yeah, again, try to find it for a good price and buy it from somebody reputable, whether it's on Facebook or on eBay, somebody that has really good feedback. Fully inspect it before you commit to that item. Oh, Beskar Kid, stop being cynical. He says, I hope I'm still alive by then. You'll be alive. I know you will. Collector Joey says tomorrow. Collector Joe, you're reminding me of Owen in the chat. He says every Monday we're going to get the N1.
He's called that N1 like 4 weeks in a row. That hasn't happened.
I know.
Yeah, that should come
he's
before
like, all I
this
said was
guy.
Monday. Yeah, exactly.
I heard Owen's buying us all N1s to make up for lanes.
I did hear that as well. I mean, dude, he's got a lot of money. He just got both the DX06 and the 15. I saw that, yeah. R. Castro says, this is my first time on your channel. Thank you so much, R. Castro, for being here. We appreciate you finding your way over here. He says, I appreciate the live stream and the panel's point of view. Do people really use the accessories? Because most displays I've seen are just figures mostly. Now, right. So it really depends on the person. Like me personally, I'm one of those dudes. I love kind of using some accessories to kind of throw in the display to kind of make a scene. So like my clones, for example, they come with all those extra like DC-15A and DC-15s. They have the rocket launchers. So I kind of throw them in the display. Sometimes I have them leaning against the back, so it looks like a little mini armory. So it really depends on the person. Some people like that really clean look. Me, I kind of like throwing the accessories in where it makes sense and it doesn't look too goofy. But also, Ryan knows this. For me, part of it is just owning the accessories. I just appreciate the detail and the work that goes into the accessories. So I always tell Ryan and everybody else, I'm like, I got to go deluxe because I just like owning it. It's like, it's cool to me. It's mini art, and we throw the term art around a lot, but it's cool, like it really is. I like owning the stuff. Like perfect example, Chris, and then we'll move on to what you have to say. I recently got the Doc Brown from part 2, and I absolutely love that money case that he comes with. Now, I
Mhm.
may never display him with that, but it's such a fantastic accessory. I just love to have it. I may find a way to kind of throw it in my display to kind of have it on display in some way, but even if I weren't going to, it's such a fantastic accessory. It's just really cool to
When you get your
own, you know?
DeLorean,
Yeah.
put it under the hood like he did in the movie.
Oh,
That's
that's
like
right. He does do
that's
that.
like
That could be
Opens the
cool.
hood,
Yeah,
throw the money case in there.
accessories. You
that's
can
true.
see the Obi-Wan deluxe. I mean, that, like, I wanted that figure and only the deluxe just because of that base it comes with.
Yeah. 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 I mean, that's how it is, you know? And again, it's cool to have an appreciation for the accessories, even if you don't put them in your display. Some of them are just cool to own. And here's another good question while we're on the topic. This is a great question. What is the most underrated accessory that everybody slept on? Let's say an accessory that people don't talk about a lot. I have one for you. One of my favorite accessories in my collection that is not often talked about is the baby food that comes with the RoboCop battle damage figure. If you're a fan of RoboCop, it's just such a funny little extra accessory, and I haven't seen a lot of people talk about it because it's very insignificant. I haven't seen a lot of people display the baby food, but in mine, I have the baby food sitting by his feet. So for me, yeah, I would say the baby food, and then honorable mention would be that psionic shield that comes with Cable. That's an exclusive accessory that comes with him, and it's fantastic. Typically, Hot Toys often does that crappy like vacuum form plastic for their shields. That's actually legitimate like hard plastic, and it's really nice. And I actually have mine on display with that psionic shield. So that'd be my honorable mention. But Ryan, what would be an underrated accessory in your collection?
I don't really know because I don't use accessories in my collection, so I don't really. Yeah, I'm very simple. I use a lot. I'm looking back at my display, and I'm very minimalistic.
Yeah.
Like a lot. Like I use my accessories for my photography, so I'm different. I take everything out of the boxes, and I keep them in Ziploc bags, and
Yes.
I throw them in a tub. I have a big tub next to
Yep.
me that literally just is a pile of Ziploc bags because I'm interchanging stuff so often. In a rare instance, the Chrome Mando, I'm actually displaying all the accessories with it because I have two of them. So I can
Same.
swap the accessories and like actually use most of everything. But yeah, I'm not very much of an accessory person. I'll do it for photography. I'll take something out, move some, but then I put them right just because for my display, as you can see, a lot of them behind me really don't garner. The only one who's really tricked out is the John Wick, but that's because I have third party accessories also.
Mhm.
But what stinks about it, and I'm gonna go off topic. I wish Hot Toys would do stuff like that to like display accessories, like busts or stuff like that to display because these things
Totally
are like
agree.
works of art, like sculpts. And the only reason why
Yeah. We'll see with Carnage.
the only reason why this head sculpt is on this figure is because I have a second figure. Otherwise, this head sculpt
Mhm.
would go in the Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
So I kind of wish. I think an underrated thing I wish Hot Toys would make is like more of those mini busts because I think people would display those a lot more than they think they would because they're really nice works of art, especially like all the Iron Man heads and everything like that, like all
It would be
lined up.
so, and there is a third party company doing that that's compatible with Hot Toys heads. But
Yeah,
I agree, like Carnage comes with it. The iconic special edition of Muhammad Ali comes with that little bust for the extra head sculpt.
but
Like
like the right there, like the little
quarter
Tony
scale
Stark, like
Batman.
the little Tony Stark table that I have right there, the little workstation.
Mhm.
I actually started displaying the empty helmets. If I have like a
Oh
figure
yeah,
with the Tony Stark sculpt on, I just took the empty helmet and put it on the table. Like stuff like that. I think people don't utilize sometimes like Iron Man figures. They'll utilize one or the other, but they don't display them both, you
yeah.
know, in another way or unique way. But it
Oh,
does if
for
it's
sure,
everyone's collection. They don't want it also over cluttered. Has to
for
make
sure.
sense, I guess.
Yep. This is a good one too. Furbo says the Ant-Man and the Wasp shrunken lab accessory. I absolutely
I
love
used
that
it when
accessory.
I had it.
I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah, it's fantastic. I really do like that one a lot. Let's see. Beskar says the light up table for holograms that came with Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan Deluxe. Yeah, so I have two of those Obi-Wans in my display. So I have one of those. They're both hardwired, so they're on when my lights come on. I've got one with General Grievous with a battle droid hologram on it, and then the other one I have with Obi-Wan, and it's got Yoda and Anakin on it. So I definitely love those. Those are fantastic, and the light up
It's
feature
pretty
is really
dope.
cool. Yeah, I like it a lot. Yeah, Joey, that's a great accessory too. And that's another one. Since I have two of those Obi-Wans,
That
I have
was gonna
those
be
scattered
mine.
around.
I
Really?
have it with my
Dude,
501st, and
I have
then
to go on
here,
Toy
just have
Anxiety
them
now to find I have to go on Toy Anxiety and Monkey Depot and find a jar of baby food from RoboCop. I never knew it came with baby food.
He
I just
did.
want it
That's
now.
what I'm
Like, I
saying.
literally just
That's an
want it.
underrated accessory.
I just
dude.
want it now for no reason. I just want
How
it.
cool is that? It's so random, and it's got the little picture on it and
Does
everything.
it really? I never saw it. I don't own it.
Yep, he comes with 3 jars of baby food. Yep. As I said, it's like an underrated accessory, and a lot of people don't pay attention to that because he comes with that big ass FMJ sniper rifle, and he's got of course, his signature gun and everything. So people pay attention to that stuff first. But yeah, Collector Joey, that's a great one for sure. The cut up battle droid. And Chris said that's his favorite.
I don't know if people use it, but I do. I just have it out because it's cool and it's one piece. Is because Superman doesn't come with much, but the Kryptonite for the BVS version.
Yeah. Yeah, that Kryptonite spear is fire. I almost want to buy that like a separate, like that Kryptonite spear that you can get with the was that the armored? There's 3 versions of that figure, right? The armored Batman. There's the black chrome, the battle damage, and the regular. Which one comes with the Kryptonite spear?
Battle damage, I think, right?
I think it is the battle damage.
I think it's the battle damage.
Look at that. I know you like this one, Chris. Furbo says so much madness in here. Maybe I should start collecting it.
I see. Absolutely. I see what you did there.
Yeah, because we love it.
Exactly. Ian says, "Oh man, I have that RoboCop. He's my only really older cool one." Yeah, dude, I love RoboCop, man. You guys know. I'm really excited. Ryan's really excited for that new one coming out. It's cool, man.
Still on the wait list for it.
You'll get a conversion for sure. Oh, David says Christopher Reeve's Fortress of Solitude. Actually, I have that next to me, so I can actually show everybody. This is a really cool display base, guys. Like, even if you're not a fan of the Christopher Reeve Superman, I think you can really appreciate this. Let me bring this up here.
Wow, that's big.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I was waiting for
How
it.
cool is that, though? How cool is that? This is easy.
Dude, I like the pin. That is dope. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually.
Imagine if that was like lit up, like USB, like it lit up.
I know. I might have to pull Kenobi and USB hack it. I might have to, right?
No, that would be sick though if that was lit up. Like
it would be. No, it certainly would be. It certainly would be. Another question. Control Delete Q says, since we are on accessories, what is the best accessory that comes with a figure?
Very general. Ooh, because it's so unique to every.
I don't hate to say it. I actually have. Do I have it sitting next to me? I don't. I'm gonna say one of my all-time favorite accessories, and this is actually a recent, not long ago, pickup for a lot of us, is the plutonium case that came with Doc Brown.
Dude, I was just gonna say it, not even kidding.
Because that's such an important accessory, right? Like that's a very important accessory to that first film. So I would say that's probably one of my favorites.
If it was made out of plastic, it'd be so much better.
But the thing is, I don't. You know me. I don't. Yeah,
it still looks pretty dope.
It doesn't.
Yeah. I saw
mine's sitting right up there in the corner. It's right.
And then another one that actually Matt mentioned. Let me see. Since we're on Back to the Future, another really fantastic, very important accessory. Let me see. I'm sorry, 8-bit Flea. I think I said Matt.
All Doc's accessories were incredible.
Another very, very important accessory, especially to Back to the Future Part 2. Is the sports almanac in the retail bag that he got it in. So that's another one that would be my 2 if I had to pick 2. And thankfully I had them in close reach so I can remember. But those are 2 that I really, really like. Ryan, what are 2 accessories that are like some of the best in your opinion? Just name one in an honorable mention. And people in the chat, feel free to. I like these questions. Control Delete. They're definitely getting.
I'm gonna give you one. One's really silly. But if you have
the baby food is too. You know.
No. I'll tell you. So like accessories that I love is anything with the John Wick. You can pick anything with that. Like, dude, like it comes with like the pencil. I love it. You know, all that
pencil.
Yeah. So like that's cool. That's probably my best. That's probably one of my favorite accessorized figures. So you can pick like anything from that. And only the reason why I say this, it's so silly, so don't kill me, is doing photography wise with it. But the Chrome Mando, because that's kind of like my flavor figure right now until my 66 Joker comes in tomorrow. When that comes in, accessories wise, man, the vacuum, that's going to be
plenty of hands too.
No, but what's really funny is this right here. And I think people take it for granted about how realistic. I love the thumb hand on Chrome Mando, that accessory. When him holding the Beskar spear, because like doing photography, like I can't tell you how many times the hands, you can have a bunch of them, but they don't look real. Like when they're holding stuff, it looks kind of plastic, like a toy. but like the fact that he holds it and he has the thumb like on the spear, like the one behind me. Oh, sorry, you can't see it, but he's like sitting right there and he's holding, and I have him with the spear like in the ground and he has the thumb on it. It just looks so realistic to me that
Yeah.
that I love. I just love that. So taking pictures and stuff like that, it just looks so cool. So cool. So that's it's a silly accessory, but that's just
Hey,
one that I love.
it's funny because I just recently did my Claire Redfield review and she had that as well. She didn't come with a lot of hands, but I was really glad to see that because she comes with like a flashbang and stuff. And obviously holding it like that looks much more realistic than holding something like this, you know, it just adds to the realism. So I mean, that's a good one. That's a good one that a lot of people might think about. Before we move on to Chris, I want to say what's up to 6 Scale Cantina. Aries is in the house. He says the A New Hope Ben is one of the best figures ever. That being said, rolling eyes and a DX for it. Let's go, baby. It won't take away from the one I already have. It will hold good value and still be OG.
I'll drink to that.
That coffee to you, Aries. Spill my coffee.
Spilling your coffee over the DX.
There you go.
Good to see as always, Aries. Guys, of course, if you haven't already, check out 6 Scale Cantina. I'm sure you guys know who Aries is, but definitely check him out if you haven't already. Another great one. Owen says in the detox says coffee and donuts with Mark IV. That's awesome.
And the sunglasses too.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great look, man. That's a fantastic look, I would say. I love that whole combination of the display base, and Ryan has this figure as well, that battle damage Ultron bot that comes with the Mark 43. Absolutely fantastic, and I do have mine on display.
Yeah,
he looks great.
He's my first ever hot toy, so he's got to be front and center.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Furbo says maybe a New Hope Ben can come with a rotating arm when he fights Vader. The world is our oyster at this point, right? Matt says Matt is in the house. Matt says WB 100th this year, Reeves 2.0. That base is incredible. Dude, the thing is like, as much as I would like to see them take another crack at this, I don't know if they're going to. It's another one of those figures. It's like, where does that fit in? You know, amongst all the other stuff they have planned. I don't know. I would love to see it though, because this really is, and this is a very old figure, and I think it's pretty fantastic. So I can't imagine how good a new one would be. That would be pretty awesome. That's messed up. Matt says cardboardium case. That's messed up, but that's a funny one. I'll take that. I'll take that. 8-bit. Look, I'm not flexing. It just looks cool in the background. I mean, oh, come on now. This is the 1978 Christopher Reeve Superman. Such a legend. You know what? You know what's crazy? I would have loved to have had a Clark Kent to go with him. If any third-party companies are ever listening to us, give us a Clark Kent with the whole trench coat and everything and the hat. That'd be fantastic. I would love to see that. Moostream says, I love the news and commercials. Dude, RoboCop is just such a treat, man. I love everything about RoboCop. You guys know that's one of my favorite 80s films, and I always have a special place in my heart. Fad Gadget, that's another great one too. I actually have that Spider-Man, the Avengers Campus Spider-Man, the churro. Yeah, that churro is pretty awesome. It's definitely a special accessory. Everything that comes with that figure is really cool. Yes, the Volume 2. Furbo says all the Groots that come with the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 figures are the best. Yeah, especially I like the one that can sit on Rocket's shoulder. I think that's really cool. I love that they kind of switched it up with all of them. The Surtur skull is really cool as well. And then you get a Surtur skull with the Loki as well, which I think is really cool. Let's see what else. David says, and I say yes. Love it. And yes, Castro, I think a lot of us do that often, is swapping different accessories between figures, especially like Ryan used the example of John Wick, but John Wick has a bunch of realistic firearms, and those can certainly fit with a lot of different figures. Like also, for example, like I got this Claire Redfield and I have Leon Kennedy, and they come with pretty fantastic firearms, and I could swap those out with Neo or John Wick. You know, there's the possibilities are really endless, in my opinion. Let's see. Ian says, RoboCop really is a gray film. I guess you meant great. I'd love to snag that new one. Yeah, it's really exciting that we're getting another RoboCop, and I can't wait for it. But guys, that's going to wrap it up. I want to start by saying thank you so much for the turnout, guys. Oh, I'm so sorry, Chris. That's not going to wrap it up. Chris, you got to stop me. Yeah, you know what, Chris? Screw you, buddy. But no, Chris, before we wrap it up, just kidding, guys. I just wanted to make sure you're all awake. Chris, what are your 2 accessories that are, in your opinion, some of the best they've ever done?
I was going to go a third-party route, and you have this figure. I liked the little map markers and the wine pitcher and wine that Tyrion comes with.
Ooh.
So I like that. If anybody has that figure, and then what was the other one? I just had it too because I was looking around.
Wow, dude, you're cutting me off to end it out. And
Oh, good. Just send it there. I had it. If it comes back, I'll cut you off.
Yeah, just cut me off again, and we'll remember it. But he said yes, I meant great. But yeah, guys, that's going to wrap it up. As always, guys, thank you so much for being here. I know a lot of people were streaming tonight, but the fact that you guys were hanging out with us, some great thoughts in the chat. Before we end out, guys, of course, I'm going to end the poll out here and give you guys the results. So Ben Kenobi 2.0 or no? Guys, we have 64% that say yes, they would like to see a 2.0. The people have spoken, guys. Thank you so much for voting in the poll. 64% of the people here tonight said they would love to see a 2.0. And then the other 36% are with Chris and Ryan. They said they don't think there needs to be one. So thank you guys for voting in the poll. And everybody's saying awesome stream. We got Big Dog Pound says awesome stream. Take care, folks. Thank you so much, Big Dog Pound, as always, for being here and sharing the enthusiasm. We love you, dude. Thank you so much for being here. Payton23 says, great stream. Thank you so much, Payton, as always, for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. R. Castro says, have a good night, and thanks to the panel. R. Castro, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the Hot Toys Hotline community. I hope you subscribe on the way out. We would love to see you back. We have 2 streams per week. So our main stream where we talk about all things figure news is going to be this Thursday at 7 p.m. EST. So I would love to see you there if you could fit it in your schedule. Thank you so much for being here. Boba Fettuccini, thank you so much for being here. I very much appreciate it. We do this for you all, so I hope you guys enjoyed the stream tonight. And Same One says, great stream. Thank you all. Best chat around, and I totally agree. I love, guys, I always say it, I love the respect in the chat. There's never any arguments in our chat. Our moderators are here just to help us with the flow of everything. They really don't have to do much in terms of moderating the actual people in the chat. And that's a testament to you all. You guys are fantastic, so thank you so much. Beskar, thanks for being here. Six Scale Cantina. Aries, thank you so much for popping in. And once again, thank you so much for having me on your stream yesterday. It was an absolute pleasure, and I would love to come back sometime. Thank you so much for being here, and I will talk to you later for sure. 8-Bit Flea says, still the best live show around, in my opinion. Hit that like, y'all. See you on the next one. Thank you so much, 8-Bit Flea. It's always awesome to have you here, my friend, and it's not a Hot Toys Hotline stream without you. Furbo saying you should hop in the Discord with us, Chris.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, because of UPS and stuff, I can barely handle our chat sometimes. Like, so all that stuff just blows my phone up all day. And
How dare you?
It's hard.
How dare
it's hard
you?
to manage it.
Blue Tattoo. Yeah. Blue Tattoo says, great stream. Have an awesome night. You have an awesome night as well. Thanks for being here. Funky Cold Santa, thanks for being here as well. Ian says, sleep well, everybody. Take care, Ian. I hope you're doing well. Boba Fettuccine says 64% of the people here that don't have Obi-Wan. That's funny. That's kind of going along with going against what 8-Bit was saying. That's funny. But guys, again, if I didn't name you, thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us tonight. I very much appreciate it. Guys, just to update you on what I have going on the channel, I did just drop a review yesterday of the Season 7 Sandor Clegane, or the Hound, as many of us know him from Game of Thrones. I just dropped my review yesterday. And I only saw one other review, and it was in French, believe it or not, a French review, which I thought was cool. But I did put up a review on that figure. So if it's something you're considering, or if you like the Game of Thrones, definitely check that out. And of course, prior to that, I did also drop a video on the Iconic Studios Ryu, which is an absolutely fantastic figure. I highly recommend you check out that review. And also the Damn Toys Claire Redfield, another figure that was surrounded by a lot of speculation after the final product photos came out. So definitely check out those videos, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Ryan, what do you have going on the channel currently? What do you have planned? Anything new coming in?
I got the 66 Mars Toys Joker coming tomorrow, so I'll probably do like a detailed unboxing short. I'll steal some cues from Beskar Kid, who does the best 60-second reviews out there. So I'll probably steal a cue from him and do a review like that. I'm doing a lot of stuff on my Instagram, and then I'm in the process of working on my displays behind me, cleaning stuff up, like just like that. So yeah, pretty much same old. We're marching our way to, I don't like to talk like this, but the glorious 1,000 number. So I think I'm at 879 right now. I don't think I'm in very gracious and thankful to everyone out there in the community that's been subscribing. I know I've been talking about maybe doing some live stream opinionated videos in the future. You know, just kind of not a stream, not ready for that, but you know, opinionated videos that I could interact with people. You know, kind of like this, have you guys on, have a couple ideas in the pipeline. So you might see Mr. Mom live in the next couple weeks. Go jump in the deep end. I'll see what happens. But yeah, if anyone, you know, subscribe to the channel, as always, I appreciate the support, and I thank everybody. Connor, as always, thank you for having me as a guest.
It's great to have you here, dude. And guys, as always, the links
Chris,
are in the description.
To, sit there and
right. The links are in the description, guys, by the way, to Ryan's channel. And of course, the links are in the description as well for the Hot Toys Hotline Facebook group. Guys, we need 9 more members to give away $25. It's a free $25. Someone's going to win it. So head on over to the Hot Toys Hotline Facebook group, and we have an incredible messenger chat. So definitely head on over, join that, and have some fun. It's fun to talk about all things 6 scale in that chat. For sure. And guys, the link to Ryan's channel is in the description. Of course, we don't have our normal mods that drop the links, so just head on over to the description. It'll be in there. But thank you so much for being here as always, Ryan. I look forward to doing the live streams with you whenever we end up doing those, so that'll be really fun. I don't know if you'll be as good of a host as me quite yet, because I'm a seasoned veteran.
Set the bar extremely high.
I'm a seasoned,
I know people are talking. I know some people were commenting that you had a really nice voice, moderating, talking. So I can't. When I get my voice back, hopefully I can.
What can I say, dude? But yeah, I am very excited to see the 66 Joker and hear your thoughts on it, because that's a company.
I hope I get it.
Yeah, that's a company I'm really excited about. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to take a look at that on Thursday stream, guys. Finally, my boy Chris. Collecting Madness. Chris, what do you got going on the channel? Anything new coming in? Got to get goofy at the end, right?
Yeah. Every day, son. Nah, I'm literally, I got nothing coming in right now. Everything I did, fucking Ryan. Everything I did have coming in is delayed. Literally.
I don't know what's so funny about that, but sure, yeah. So,
oh my god. Anyways, you can check out my channel. Yeah, you can check out my channel.
There we go. Matt's coming in clutch, dropping the link. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate
it. Chris with the best self-promotion in the world. Just check out my channel.
All right, guys. Well, hey, there's a link to Chris's channel. Obviously, he can't get it out. There's a link to Chris's channel in the description. And thank you so much, Matt, for dropping the links in the chat as well.
Always fun.
But guys, yes, that's going to wrap it up for us. Once again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for all the support on not only my channel, but everyone on the panel, not only here, but who we see on the Thursday live streams as well. Don't worry, we are getting the giveaway and everything together soon, so we'll definitely do a video or a live stream or something for that soon. And that's all I got for you guys. Once again, thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. If you're not here on Thursday, enjoy the rest of your weekend. But if you're here on Thursday, we look forward to seeing you and hanging out with y'all. So we'll see you next time. As I'm trying to close it out, and Chris is messing up my outro, but take care, everybody, and we will see you next time. And once again, Thursday at 7 p.m. EST, we will see you for our live stream on Thursday. So take care, everybody. See you next time.